I think the best thing the candidate is bringing is conscience. Without conscience, no matter your knowledge, it goes to no issue. So when you have conscience, you surround yourself with men of integrity and noble character, there is no way Edo will not move forward. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be here.
Thank you very much. My name is Dr. Azena, the candidate for the governorship election coming under the platform of the New Nigeria People's Party. I'm a pastor, I'm also a businessman, and also a student. By the grace of God, I'm from Edo North, specifically I'm from Okwepe. By God's grace, I believe so much that Edo State deserves more than what we are seeing today. The NNPP as a party, we believe checking in line with our logo. When we say NNPP, we say New Nigeria. And when we say New Nigeria, we say education for all. One of the things we believe so much is that education, the level we are seeing it today is not what we want to see. We want to work on our education. I don't want to go further in our manifesto because there is going to be a time to do that. But what I want us to know, I'm a young man who believes in change. By God's grace, in the past 45 years, I've lived in Edo State. I've not lived outside Edo State. My family are with me in Edo State. Everyone that belongs to me are in Edo State. So it is only someone that is in the house that knows where he's looking from. Either wear shoes, no way he preaches. So if there's anyone that should be talking about Edo State today, in naked form and in closed form.
Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Ubera Furuto, and I am the gubernatorial candidate for AAC, the African Action Congress. And I'm from headquarters in Urakwa, Eastern Southeast Local Government area of Edo State. Firstly, I want to acknowledge the work that the civil society organization they're doing in Edo State. The civil society group, they are the backbone of our society. They have been the ones holding our leaders accountable. They have been the voice for the voiceless and advocating for justice. And that is one of the reasons, too, why I am here, because the reason my intention of running for the position of the governor is personal. And talking about myself, I am the group managing director and lead consultant for Ubera Consults, and also the lead consultant for grants administration and consultants. I am the president of the Rise Initiative and also the founder of Ubera Foundation. My journey has been one that has been defined by the biggest commitment to progress and prosperity of the people of Edo State. And this have formed values and principles which is termed humanity first, which later became the theme of our campaign, Humanity First. It has been a lifestyle for me, and it also ties with our party, the manifesto of our party, the People's Manifesto for Total Liberation. The Humanity First comes from People's Liberation, the People's Manifesto for Total Liberation of the African Action Congress, the only ideological political party in Nigeria. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We just hold that, so we start the next question from you. You know, all the political parties that the candidates are contesting for the governorship election come Saturday, the whole political party have manifesto. The manifesto contains the policy direction of the political party. And we would like to hear from each of these candidates, what is your political party manifesto on the issue of education, health, unemployment, and the source of revenue for the state? We'll give each 2 minutes to also say something. We'll start from you, Obira.
Okay, the manifesto for the year 2024, our manifesto is themed Humanity First, and simply it means that it was launched on the 8th of February 2024, and I want to say we're the first political party to release our manifesto because we're prepared for the election. And it simply means that we must put people first in all we do, in our policy making, in the decisions we make. We must be
Your
people first because we believe governance is about the people, and if we put the people forward in everything we do, we will definitely get it right. Now, I don't know if 2 minutes is enough to talk about the four sectors. Okay, the sectors you listed. One of the biggest problems personally that we face in Edo State is the issue of security. And how do we intend to tackle that? I will just try and list them. Simple, we must tackle the issues from the roots. What are the root causes of insecurity? Number one is unemployment. And how do we manage that and also curb the state of insecurity in our state? We came up with a plan, and using digital technology to also support what we already have on ground. And how do we intend to do that? We came up with an app which is called the Neighborhood Watch. And that app, because we know today 60% of Edo people, they use powerful phones. We have the Android phones, we use powerful phones. Now, this app can be tied to a drone technology, or even the use of, which I was about 3 billion to 4.5 billion, depending on how recent they are. I don't think it's so much of a problem for us to have about 3 managing our airspace in Edo North, Edo Central, and Edo South. And we tie that to, as well as with the drone, tie it with the app, whereby every 5 minutes there are live updates of information of to help us have proper area view and management of parameter when someone is kidnapped, when there are, let's say, traffic information and all of that, or there is a chaos or whatever it is, we're able to do that. And within 3 months, with that, we'll be able to also, in those states, is a fact that though the government record shows that our unemployment rate is about 28%, but we know from independent sources about 35, 36 or thereabout. Now, the youth in Edo State, they are unemployed, a lot of them. Edo State is same as a civil service state per se. But how do we intend to do that? I will go into the MSME space. The area where I play, I'm an MSME.
Time is not enough, but that's the real reality. So, Dr. Pastor.
Thank you very much. If I may stick to your question, 4 things were determined by you. One of them is education. We talk about health, employment, and revenue generation. The first, education, 3 keys. 1, the retraining of teachers. I believe strongly on the Edo Best that the present administration have started, but it can be improved. Our teachers are going to be trained and retrained because school is not all about the classroom. Classrooms are needed, but the teachers are more important than classrooms. So we are going to create a platform where the teachers will retrain and retrain, and those due for promotion be promoted, and creating an enable environment for them to operate. Secondly, why are most of our children out of schools? Then that is where our party believe on what we call free education for primary and secondary. We are going to give free education in totality, not the one on paper. Even the materials, the books, every requirement, uniform are going to be free. Now, education can be divided into 2. Let's talk about the tertiary institution. I was talking to my party leader before I came aboard, and permits me to deduce from the statement we discussed that what happened in one of the state tertiary institutions is appalling, and it was connected to one of the civil society leaders. And I said, anytime I remember that, I'm always down. And I think we are going to reduce the school fees of any state-owned tertiary institution. Because if we don't do that, there are going to be more criminals in the next few years. We have school fees of $100 something, and medicine is about $700 something. In the next 3 years, we will not have a poor man as a doctor. We will not have a poor man as a lawyer. So I'm going to make sure 70% of reduction for school fees. Now let's talk about health. We just have 200 doctors employed by the state government, taking care of over 5 million people. So we are going to employ more doctors and bring down facilities that will help the doctors to work effectively and create also a legal environment for them. Now talk about employment. Employment was never an issue to the state government of Bende State then, because there was Bende Cement Factory, there was Flower Mill, there was Edo Line, and there was Bende Brewery. But they are dead. So if we must create employment, I promise, and my party is promising, that there must be a cement factory, not the renovation of the old one, because that is dead already. We have to plant a new one, and the government will not depend on the private sources as a company passing them to have money, but we will have something that will produce by ourselves. And now talk about revenue. When you have industries, definitely revenue will come up. Presently now the IGR of Edo State is around 62 billion naira monthly, and when you have the federal allocation over 161.9 billion naira. So if you want to generate the revenue, we don't go by tax. All of us went through school. When you want to have much money, go engage yourself into production. When you do production, you have much money. But what we see in Edo State today is tax the people to have much money, which is going to be a thing of the past. So I believe strongly at the time we invest on agriculture, we invest on direct investment from international bodies and the EDGs of those states in diaspora. Let me say this, there is something that is appalling, that you see China and other foreign companies coming to those states, and they will be given a free land to establish companies. But when a those state person is coming to establish a company, you will buy land by yourself. That is abnormal, and it must be corrected. Thank you.
Well, I think the first gap you notice between what is and what ought to be bears strongly on the issue of security. Therefore, any administration that must succeed must look critically into the security architecture of the state or the country. However, in doing that, you must take into cognizance what the Constitution says, because unless and until the Constitution is totally reflect what you are thinking, it may just barely end as wishful thinking. As it is today, security architecture is clearly by the Constitution in the hands of the federal government, where the state governors, they are called chief security officers, but to what extent, how much of success they can do that, will go, so to speak, with how dispassionate the governor is to use the clear mandate given to him again by this Constitution in the area of security votes and your partnership with the security architecture that is already on the ground. It is not often true that whereas you don't employ the police, therefore you don't have control over them. I am aware that on a monthly basis, there is what we call Security Council of the States, who hold security meetings, and whatever the governor wants, that is what they do. Government must have the courage and the tenacity of purpose to invest, so to speak, in assisting the security architecture on ground by purchasing hugely vehicles and training and retraining, and empowering men on ground with training and retraining. That being the case, it worked. When we were in government, with Comrade Adams and Shomole, if you assist the police with materials, working tools, past police will give you full security that will secure the state and even encourage your investors to come. Now, if you look at the as it is today, and those that address just 5%, 5% of the number of the percentage of police that sums up what we have in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. There is laxity when you don't have good cooperation, good working relationship with the police. That is why we notice today what is happening. Yes, it is a good initiative to encourage for the state, while wishing that there is state security, state police. However, we are working with network, the kind of network they have now. We also have it. But the difference is that If you allow the proliferation of light and hard weapons in the hands of where it is not well documented and not well documented, what you are doing, you are creating more absolutely. The governorship candidates of the All Progressive Congress do have another option. Those who are parading by the concept of what the governor of today wants, that they can hold their hands and light weapons. Even that again is an offense against the Constitution of the Federal Republic. Is that rather than allowing them to do that, encourage them to be the and informants to the former police sector. In that doing that, you empower the police with vehicles, with funding the police in those days and collaborating with the community-based relationship. You'll be able to tackle that. Now, in the area of health is key.
Thank you. Sorry, before this is done. So, Doctor.
Thank you so much for having me in this platform, to have the opportunity to address the Edo Light. We're in a crucial time. We're talking about manifesto. Manifesto public declarations of intention. What you want to do for the people. First and foremost, we have to look at the foundations of our land. When you look at the pillars of democracy, we must understand the rule of law. If we cannot re-establish the rule of law, we can talk all we want. That he that creates the law, he that interprets the law, he that enforces the law, must obey the law. The difference between the Western nations and this part of the world today is just the rule of law. We're intelligent people. I can stand here today and tell you everything I want to do. If that pillar, that roots of democracy is broken, it's hard to continue. The people are paramount to us. I listened to all the co-candidates. I want to thank you all for your speech. I learned a lot from you all. Like I said, we want to have all-inclusive government. No one can do it alone. Where we prioritize institutions over individualism. When I look at our institutions today, our government, it's almost like authoritarian. I. It should be democratic. When you have a chance, go to the people. The people elect you for one reason, to guide them, to provide for them. Welfare is a part of it. Safety is a part of it. Job is a part of it. But when you look at the state right now, we have economic sabotage. A child that you cannot provide for, you can't contain that child. And that will lead to security. First of all, I want to create a rescue plan for Edo. That for the past 24 years, since the modern democracy, our land has never enjoyed true governance. Not only democracy is the progressive yet it's part of the world. I use this part of the world because I have traveled, I have seen. You cannot give what you don't have. When the brain is conditioned, you always work according to what they are supposed to. So promises based on a lack of information will not work. You have to be exposed. That's the reason we want to create a civilized and exposed administration. When a man is exposed and civilized, you don't have to tell him what to do. Look at what we've been fighting for the past 24 years. These are necessities. These are not supposed to be a part of the manifesto. Because if you cannot deal with social issues, how can you talk about critical infrastructures and all these drones, skyscrapers and all this stuff? It's not going to work. How will people go to their farms when there are no roads? I went to all the markets. I will tell you our manifestos and our policies that want to create a favorable tax. Tax is important, but it should be favorable to everyone. You can't take away taxes. I also want to stand on the existing manifesto of Professor Abu Ali that was abandoned 41 years ago. That says education for all, equality for all, housing, agriculture, communal agriculture, empowering our people. In all, he said we should all come together. Whether you're from the southern part of the world, the nation, of the state, the central part of the state, or the northern part of the state, it's one Edo. I want to create an economic rescue plan where every Edo light, in the first 180 days of my administrations, we want to take out the hardship. Because right now, when I travel around the state, we are beaten. During the recession, during the pandemic, One thing that the Western nation did very good, because they know that you can't take people to stay home, pay people that are not on the payroll. And I promise you, Edo will be different under the administrations of Dr. Brighton Appleton. Thank you.
Thank you. So we still hold the microphone. First, you've seen the manifestos of the political parties speaking to different positions on the issue of education, the issue of health, unemployment, security. All the political parties that are present here today have different policy position on that. I want to ask, I will build roads. I will make sure that the people are empowered. I will make sure that there's free education, according to Pastor. I said, where will you get the resources from? For 4 minutes. Go to the point. Where will you get the resources from? Taking into consideration that Edo State external debt, the dwindling monthly allocation, where will you get the resources from?
Well, debt can be equitable if it's put in the right place. Sometimes we borrow money to start a business. And sometimes we borrow several times. Sometimes we borrow 10 times. If it's equitable. Every company in this world, even China and America, is debt. The difference is that they put their money in the right place. When there's corruption in the land, they start struggling where does the money go. I tell you, it talks about the, NPP talks about our revenue, talks about the IGR and all that stuff that we're having. The problem we are facing in this land today is we have what we call human capital. We have one of the fastest growing populations in the world. If we engage them correctly, there's revenue. We have to look at
Where do we get the revenue from, sir?
let me start. You ask me the question. Human capital is already revenue. Because the people, capitalisms are built on the private sectors, not on the public sectors. When the government competes with the people, they will have a fair economy. We have to empower people. Because right now, I'm not going to a district treasury and say there was no revenue. Where does that revenue go? I have to look at, I cannot say that I'm not going to run a politics. We came number one. People respect the British kingdom. We're bigger than the world trade. To look at all these colorful areas, urban areas, and say, how do we empower them? You cannot move from civic civilizations to urban civilizations or modern civilizations. You can't even take on little things. Now, I'm going to go back again. When corruption meets with poverty and trouble, we must reestablish our teachers. If they are not well taken care of, if those that are supposed to lead us are breaking the law, then how do you expect the ordinary citizens to obey the law? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Just to get a correction, Doctor, I think the finances of Edo is not moving. Rather, it's going up. Yeah, I wish to run the budget. And there are 4 key areas or avenues through which you can put this together. We're talking about running the budget, talking about the IPR. Okay. Now, we're talking about the federal allocation. Of course, it's going to skyrocket across the country. You're talking about loans, you're talking about grants. Now, what it means today is that wherever we were there, what we were getting from the federal allocation money was in the neighborhood of 2.3 and 3 billion. And sometimes when we have the surpluses, we talk about 3.5 billion. But I tell you, every month. Then you were talking about the IGR here, you were getting 1.4, and the highest we got at that time was 2.2 billion every month. That puts it at 5 billion or 4.5 as the case may be. Now, then you have a budget of 178 billion to run, both recurrent and capital. But what it is today is that I do get from the federal allocations, I do get 6-7 billion. 6-7 billion, that is to say, it's double what we used to get. Then in terms of grant and revenue, grant and the IGR, it's so much. On the average, in those states as it is today, sometimes we get an average of 10.2 billion, 10.5 billion money. What it means is that, you're not talking about the IGR now. If you add the IGR to it, you're talking about 13 billion, 13.5 billion on a monthly basis. Then the workforce is not growing. Unemployment is still there. And what it means is that even for retirement and all of that, and you are not employing, it means that at some level, the salary is static, rather than grow, it's even dwindling. Why the allocation that is coming is going up. The question is, when you match the allocation, in terms of federal allocations, IGRO, grants, and loans, then you not ask yourself, does it match what is on ground? In terms of roads, you see that dilapidated everywhere. In terms of the hospitals, it's dilapidated. In terms of education, it's dilapidated. Agriculture, dilapidated. Then you not ask yourself, why would the issue or challenges of crime and criminality will not be there? But I think I agree with what the Accord gentleman the Accord just said. When there's fiscal discipline and you channel resources to the right places, it will reflect, so to speak, in the economy. There will be will also increase. Because when there is investment, then what is proper? Instead of overtasking, you must not making as much.
One of the major problems, or one of the problems we are facing in Edo State, the poor, the who to pay their SARS, accumulated to this within a certain amount, they will collect all their tax. We have factories like Boa, we have Dangote, we have major companies, but the problem is this: they don't pay their taxes. It's only the poor man on the street. So that is one of the ways we can generate money. Two, the scarcity funds, like you said also. You discover that it's only Nigeria that we see
Those states are digitalized.
digitalizing in the form of using one. Can I tell you something? I've done transaction with those